I continue to trickle in, and that's to be expected. But I am a stickler for, starting things on time, and I think we need to do that at this point. So, again, folks that are standing, having conversation, if I can ask your cooperation, if you can find a table, find a seat, so we can get this forum on the road. All right, folks, good evening once again, and welcome to the third installment of the SETI Project March Business Forum. Thank you for taking the time to be a part of this important forum. I'm Anthony Weeks, your host and one of the founding members of the SETI Project. One of those other members, he's here wearing his, I don't know if his shirt is pink or peach or salmon or Roger, what color is it? Salmon? Okay. Roger Dewey, my colleague, is here as well from the foundation. As, again, he's one of the founding member of SETI. The SETI Project, which stands for St. Croix Economic Development Initiative, it's an agenda as a result of the 2007 St. Croix Economic Summit. Today's event is being televised by Channel 6, the government access channel by Mr. Earl Morris. Thank you, Earl, for being here. This is due to my engagement as the executive producer and host of the VI EDA focus on the local marketplace. It's a bi-monthly television show on Channel 6. And I would like to use this opportunity to say a million thanks to the good folks of the Virgin Islands EDA, a strategic partner. I would also like to thank Government House for their ongoing support of the Virgin Islands EDA as well. In addition to Channel 6, I'd also like to invite you to please go to www.vibusinesstv.com to watch today's taping. You'll be able to watch it on TV, but you will also, what you're looking at on the screen, that's the channel. That's the business channel, the online business channel, where you will see all of the archive taping by Mr. Earl Morris of Channel 6. It's then uploaded to the vibusinesstv.com site. So we invite you to do that. Tell your friends and folks abroad if they're looking for information as to what we're doing, what it means to do business. That's the place you go to get that information. Thank you also goes out to all of the media, newspapers, radio, and television for their public service announcement of today's SETI/EDA event. Also, AARP, Denise Singleton and her team for the many years of ongoing generous support to my different socioeconomic local community initiatives. I was told not to say specifically what she's done, but I got to tell you, I'm one happy camper for what they've done in terms of helping to make tonight possible. Many thanks to PIER 69 and Mr. Chris Elliott for the use of the courtyard property. He's back there in line of contact where I can just wave so that people know who you are. I want to thank you for making it possible for us to use the courtyard as well. And the Caribbean Museum Center for the Arts and Connect Space VI. I believe Alexis George is out in the audience. And finally also of SETI's volunteer staff who are on the side, who registered you and gave you a name tag and gave you some information. And special thanks to St. Croix Foundation. They serve as SETI's fiduciary. Now, for the business at hand, I'd like to just say, for the purpose of housekeeping, just kind of always bring you up to date, give you an overview as to what where we're at in the scheme of things as far as SETI is concerned. So let me just start my clock here. Reset, start, go. One of the things you'll be able to do when you go to the channel, again, that's vibusinesstv.com, you'll be able to click on the different menu options. And of course, you have doing business, that's the video, you watch the video, the marketplace, Market Street Journal, and SETI Project. For the purpose of part of tonight's presentation, I'm going to navigate to the Business Journal site. Okay. The 800-pound gorilla, double-digit unemployment, high energy and cost of living in the U.S. Virgin Islands. What does that translate to? High inflation. Now, for the purpose of just giving you a quick, when you think of inflation, what do you think of? The action of inflating something or the condition of being inflated, a general increase in prices, and fall in purchasing value of money. There's a conversation taking place within this community, St. Croix in particular. The popular conversation and the undertone of many discussions over the airwaves today in St. Croix is one of retreat and economic paralysis. Any ideas or notion of attracting or creating new businesses, or much less borrowing money to go into business, is ill-advised. You hear folks say not good timing, according to the pundits, consequent of the 800-pound gorilla. Again, double-digit unemployment, high energy and cost of living in the territory. Those are formula for disaster, which is not attractive to anyone. Now, if history is any indication, history contradicts that. History say, actually, now is the best time to go into business. Most folks say it's a lousy time to start or grow a business right now. And the question is, or the response is, you're wrong. Over half of America's Fortune 500 companies started during the Depression or recession. The worst economic condition one could ever think of when you want to go into business. Why would anyone want to go into business when the environment is not conducive to do that? But some of the most well-known brands and companies in this country, when people were jumping out of windows, Armageddon was taking place, the sky was falling, the world was ending. People went into business, started business during these times. I think that's an interesting thing. As far back as the 1st century, it is said, is noted that adversity reveals greatness, prosperity, which conceals whether or not we have the resolve in the midst of what we're dealing with to see opportunities within that. Entrepreneurs see problems as opportunities. Once upon a time, there was a little girl that was so unflatteringly optimistic that her parents worried that she would not be prepared to face the often brutal realities of childhood. When a truckload of fertilizer was delivered on her birthday, she thought it was her birthday present. She immediately grabbed a shovel and frantically began digging through the mountains of manure. "What are you doing?" her parents asked. She replied, "With all this horse poop, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere." Entrepreneurs are problem solvers. They see beyond a pile of poop and look for the pony. Every crisis is an opportunity for change. Every problem begs for a solution. Candy Lightner founded MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers in 1980, after a repeat drunk driving offender killed her daughter, Carrie. We're all problem solvers to varying degrees. When confronted with problems, we all seek solutions. The difference is that successful entrepreneurs solve other people's problems, not just their own. Though their solutions may have originated from their individual situations, they're able to recognize widespread need, replicate and remedies, and offer the solution to others. This was the reasoning behind the 2007 St. Croix Economic Summit, and the impetus for introducing, implementing, and executing the SETI project in 2013. As to be expected, SETI Monthly Business Forum, working in conjunction with the SETI online business and financial monthly magazine, is called the Market Street Journal. Now, we've all heard of Wall Street Journal. I dubbed it Market Street Journal because there is a Market Street literally in every single Caribbean island. And no matter what Caribbean island you go to, there's a Market Street. And it just so happened, on the left of us, the adjoining street here is called Market Street. And because this venue is the venue we use for the purpose of creating this environment, we call it the marketplace. That's why I created and called it the Market Street Journal. And the Market Street Journal basically is an online magazine for the business community. You do have your hardcore news sources, the newspapers and television and radio programs, but really, we don't have a real business, if you will, magazine where we focus on the economy and business of the Virgin Islands, the Caribbean. Some Caribbean have jurisdiction, have their own, but business community as it relates to what's really happening within the Virgin Islands and St. Croix. And this is why SETI is using many different tools and resources to help educate and empower the mass. And that's how you're able to go and check it out. The Market Street, you just simply go to www.marketstreetjournal.com. Now, when you go there, for the purpose of today's, when I talked about why is it I am saying that it's a good time to go into business, I've featured on this month, because each time we meet and we have a forum, the Market Street Journal will reflect what took place at the forum and a featured article or subject matter. And for the purpose of why I'm saying, why is it a good time to start businesses, there's a featured story by CBS and USA Today on the Market Street Journal. And the title of the Wall Street Journal article says, why now is a great time to be in business? And again, I invite you to take a look at that. Now, I mentioned there are a number of Fortune 500 companies that have started businesses in some of the worst conditions possible. I am concerned because when I hear pundits within the community saying, woe is me, we are not to think about attracting industries, attracting businesses, go into business, borrow money. We ought not to do any of this stuff. And I'm concerned because I'm like, okay, so I guess what we ought to do is don't get out of bed in the morning. Matter of fact, stop breathing and just simply roll over and play dead. It sounds silly because it's not an option. And so in light of what we're dealing with the energy situation, high unemployment, businesses closing, this is a perfect example. Pier 69 is a perfect example of where we should always remain optimistic, where the glass is half full, not half empty. Because once this closed, a new set of owners came in and acquired the business and reopened. And they did this, and another restaurant down the block, I forgot the name of it, opened as well. Eve Roses? Yes, opened up. In the midst of this doom and gloom. And I'm hearing the chatter on the radio. No, we don't want people to go into business. I ran into someone last evening, and the question I'm asking, how bad is the energy impact? How do we measure it? Why? Because when I was conversing with someone last night, one of the major properties on the island, a big commercial hub, I said, why don't they create a self-contained energy type situation where the tenants are able to, absorb and to have affordable energy at the complex. One business in particular wanted to do it, but they said when they approached management said, well, we thought of it, we approached the tenants, and the tenants said they don't have an energy problem. And I started scratching my head. I said, what? They don't have an energy problem. Here is a huge facility. The owners are willing to go make the necessary correction to mitigate the high cost of energy. And the tenants say, no, we don't need to do it because we don't have an energy problem. So the question that I beg to ask, really, how bad is the energy problem? How do we measure it? But we'll leave that for another time. But I want to just say real quickly, here are some of the companies that were founded in a bear market, recession, depression. 3M, Adobe System, Amgen, Apple, Bath and Body Works, BET, Broadcom, Buffalo Wild Wings, CNN, Chevron, Dave & Buster's, Disney, Electronics Arts, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, ExxonMobil, Gallup, Genentech, General Electric, how do I say this one? I'm not even going to try and say that. I can't even pronounce it. Guess, Hyatt, IBM, Johnson & Johnson, Kraft, The Learning Company, Lotus Software, Merck, Microsoft, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Pizza Hut, Princeton Review, Quick Trip, Quiznos, Scottrade, United Technologies, Urban Outfitters, Valero, and Whole Foods. I mean, these are companies that we look at. When did they get started? They started under the worst condition. And here's why this is important. And I'm going to call up our invited guest this evening. And before I do, let me just say, here's why it's so important to keep this in mind. Every year, there has been a surge in new companies spurting up. This is according to the Kauffman Foundation report, reporting that 565,000 new businesses were started in 2010. With these new businesses come increased employment opportunities and potential for further growth. Aspiring entrepreneurs need to, the existing entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs look to make their mark in the business world today. It is said that it is time for business owners to step back and refocus and take a look at their companies with a fresh, new perspective. Here's why we need to say that. When one of the first forum we had, it was someone said, well, why should we go into business and borrow money from the government development bank when the market is so lousy? There isn't a market. The business of economics is a science. Supply, where there's a demand, there's supply. But here's the problem. In today's economy, when we think of business, we not limit our thinking and outlook as to why we need to go into business just simply to serve the local marketplace. All of the companies, great companies that were created, they did not create these companies thinking, well, I'm going to go into business because I'm going to limit my services that I offer to the local economy, wherever their respective state was. They said, they knew, they said they had a better mousetrap, they had a nice widget that they would manufacture, and the entire world needed this thing. This is the mindset that we need to have when we think of business. The engine of America's economy are small businesses. Small businesses create 3 million jobs a year. So please, I beg you, when you think of business, you have the best of both worlds. You live and you enjoy this environment, but it doesn't end there. This is just where your base is. For those of you who have invented and created something in your garage, your basement, wherever, your attic, that wonderful idea, don't just think it's only for the Virgin Islands or only for St. Croix. Find out what St. Thomas needs. Find out what St. John's and Tortola and Puerto Rico and all the neighboring islands. Find out where there's a demand for a particular product and look to become that supplier. Let me just say that, in closing, that tonight next to the registration table, we have a business called Itaba. a natural, let me put on my glasses, I can't even see here. Itiba. 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 Which one is it? Atiba. Atiba, yes. Nature, Earth, and Beauty. And what we're going to do when we call this the marketplace, we're going to invite members, and the operative word is members, to be able to come, and we're going to feature a particular member, their product and services at each forum. Other members will have an opportunity to distribute their material about what they offer, their products and services as well. But again, you can only do so as a member. And so this evening, hopefully my good assistants over here gave you a copy of the membership form, correct? Everybody has a copy of the membership form? No? Yes, no, yes? Okay. I ask you to take the time to consider becoming a member of SETI. As Roger will attest to, we're using monies spilled over from the St. Croix Economic Summit for the past 3 months to do what we're doing. But that doesn't, that's not an endless pit. It ended at some point, and so it needs to be funded. And so we're now looking to now get into the second phase, where we're going to form a think tank and committees, and the only way you can participate is if you are an official member of SETI. And again, St. Croix Foundation is the fiduciary organization in which SETI is under. And so I invite you to consider becoming a member of SETI. And if you look at the application just real quickly, let me just highlight. Membership fee, $50 for individual professionals, $100 for organization. Membership includes annual membership where you get a web link on SETI online directory, distribution of marketing materials for networking at SETI's monthly business forums, and serving on elected committees and advisory boards. So again, for more information, go to www.setiproject.com. And so again, I believe Yoki, there you are, had an opportunity to engage some of you folks and talk about her business. And please support Yoki and her endeavors. Now, why we are here, one of the reasons why we're here primarily is my good friends, good folks at the EDA are with us this evening. And they're going to share some really good news. I'm not going to steal their thunder, and I'm not going to get into and describe anything. They're going to do that for themselves. But we have the folks from the EDC program, as well as the Enterprise Zone and Government Development Bank. If I may, can I ask the EDA representatives to all stand so folks know who you are, respective EDA folks? Now, you're going to hear from Margarita Benjamin. She is the Director of Applications for the EDC program. Nadine Marchena Kane, she's the Director for the Enterprise Zone. And we have, she's not here, but her colleagues are here, the bankers of the Government Development Bank, which are here to answer questions. So after their presentation, you're going to have an opportunity to ask questions, interact with them, and get information, because, folks, they have a lot of good stuff. St. Croix have about $800,000 that they need to start spending. Edward has over, what, about roughly $13 million that he needs to invest in the community. So you're going to hear about this evening. At this point, let me ask Ms. Benjamin to come up. Margarita, where? Oh, you're right here. I can't see, man. All right, Margarita. And at this point, EDA is going to, this is their show, and they're going to tell you all about the wonderful things they offer. Welcome.
Thank you, Anthony. We've had the opportunity over the last couple of months to participate in our program via Focus on the Marketplace. In a recent discussion with Mr. Weeks, we talked about the economic opportunities for local suppliers within the territory. As most of our residents, when they think about Economic Development Commission, see it as only an opportunity for big business and only an opportunity for those companies that are recipients of the economic development tax benefits or incentives. Well, understanding how the economy works and how the economic cycle goes, once a business starts and there's demands for goods and services, those suppliers, then there's a spin-off effect in our community where eventually when those services are provided by local businesses, there's an expansion within their business. As a result of that expansion based on demand, there's a need for more employees, more goods, and as a result of the different types of services that our companies may be seeking, there's also opportunity for starting new businesses. And so we also encourage, and it's a requirement of our program, that our beneficiaries, to the greatest extent possible, utilize Virgin Islands businesses. There are instances in the program that allows for exempt purchases from those local procurement requirements, and justifications are required to be filed with our office. But today I'm here to talk about the opportunities that are afforded for local businesses to provide services to our EDC beneficiaries. We have a program that's called the Eligible Virgin Islands Suppliers Program. And basically, our agency certifies local businesses to be placed on a preferential listing that is provided to our beneficiaries that allows them to go directly to those suppliers when looking for a particular type of goods or services. A supplier also has the opportunity to do competitive bidding from among those companies on the listed, or they may also do an open bidding for any Virgin Islands business that is not on the listing in addition to the eligible suppliers. So there are different levels that our businesses can choose to do their procurement activity. The easiest one for them is if there's a company that's certified on our listing is to go directly to that list. And so we encourage local businesses to do that. We get the question many times that says, well, a Home Depot or an Office Max or a Kmart, we're competing with them. Can they qualify as an eligible Virgin Islands supplier? Well, the question was asked, and the answer is no. And the reason why is that in order to be eligible for the program, not only are businesses required to be actually licensed and conducting business here in the territory for 1 year prior to us certifying that business, but they also must meet the requirements of the ownership being residents of the Virgin Islands. So if it's an individual owner, an S corporation or a sole proprietorship, the owner, it must be 100% owned by a resident of the Virgin Islands. If it's a corporation, over 50% of the shares in that business must be owned by residents of the Virgin Islands. So generally, you would not see those types of businesses that are affiliated with non-Virgin Islands entities being eligible for a program. They will still meet the requirements as a Virgin Islands licensed business, but they will not be qualified and be eligible for an eligible supplier program. One of the things that we also look for in a company, especially when they're participating or providing services that it relates to providing goods, is to ensure that it's not just a mere conduit of a non-Virgin Islands entity. We recognize in the territory that for the most part, over 90% of our goods are imported. So our small businesses will be importing these goods in which they would be reselling. However, we look to ensure that the inventory meets the size of the business. So if I'm just on a commission basis and I have a store and I call it Xerox of the Virgin Islands, and I'm just commissioning out for Xerox items, you would not be considered eligible under the program because you would be considered a conduit of an entity that would not be eligible. So there are different things that we look for. The intent of the program, as I said before, is basically to provide an opportunity for local small businesses to participate in the procurement activities of our EDC companies. That the companies are required in January and June of each year to publish notices in the newspaper of general circulations within our territory to advertise the types of goods and services that they utilize on an ongoing basis. Those one-time special type purchases you would not generally see them advertising those biannual notices. So if I'm doing construction, which may not ever happen again for the next 5 years, that would be a separate bidding at that time when they're actually participating in that activity. So what I say to individuals that come to our office is this is an opportunity for you to go to the paper. You see, oh, there is a great demand for office supplies. You've assessed the marketplace and you've said, oh, this particular item, I see a demand to be able to go into business in this particular area. And so then our next tool is to probably find financing. And that's where our government development bank and lending arm comes in to assist those businesses that are interested in startup. Those companies that are existing businesses have an opportunity now to market their products. And one of the things that our companies are required to do is to prove to us that they have actually gone out of their way to seek Virgin Islands businesses that have a particular good or service. So just the mere fact that a particular type of company may not be listed on our eligible supplier listed, they still must demonstrate that they've sought another Virgin Islands licensed business that may be doing that particular services. And one of the ways that they are required to do that is by requesting of the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs the information regarding companies licensed here in the territory in that particular area. So what happens is, outside of the goods or services not being available by an eligible supplier, we still want to encourage those monies to stay here in their territory. And so before you automatically go outside of the territory to procure those goods and services, the next level up is any other licensed business in the territory that could provide you those goods. What or how can a company qualify? The application process, there is no cost. Simply is meeting the criteria that's set forth in our application and providing proof, such as a business license, that the company has actually been registered here and have been actually conducting the services for over 1 year, at least 1 year. The company must be duly incorporated. If it's a sole proprietorship and it's operating under a trade name, that trade name must be registered in a current trade name. And also, we also ask to see copies of their tax return for the business, the last most current tax return. The reason for that is we also see that many of our companies that file are not also filing their taxes within the territory. So we also use that tax return because we can also see the level of inventory, the cost of goods sold. We look at the taxes. We see a company may file with us information on the application that's conflicting. So we do a due diligence to ensure that the company meets the requirements to be eligible under our program. So we have applications available for you this evening. One of the things is that not only are EDC beneficiaries required to use our eligible suppliers, but Ms. Machin is going to talk to you this evening about the Enterprise Zone program. And Enterprise Zone beneficiaries are also encouraged to use our eligible suppliers on the program. So you have two different recipients of the EDC or the EDA programs that are required to use eligible Virgin Islands suppliers. And I'll open up for any questions.
Do you want to?
Interested in being in business, or you have a friend that's in business, feel free to take our business card or one of our applications and spread it around the community. We have over 318 companies presently in our listing, but we know that they're within territory, but we know there are other companies that are eligible that are not on the list. Yes, you can. The question is, can you be an EDC beneficiary and still an eligible Virgin Islands supplier at the same time? And the answer is yes. Thank you. I'll now introduce Ms. Nadine Marchena from our Enterprise Zone Commission.
Don't go too far, Margarita. I just came to make an announcement. As Ms. Benjamin indicated, pleasant good evening. As Ms. Benjamin indicated, the Enterprise Zone also utilizes the same eligible supplier list, because within the law for Enterprise Zone, it says that you must utilize products either made locally or sold locally from someone who supplies that product, has supplied it for more than 1 year. So it's within the enterprise zone law too, and so to make it simpler, we just refer to the eligible supplier list that EDC has been populating for quite a long time. So we do use that. Tonight, though, I just wanted to make sure that as we're talking about business and the furtherance of business and the growth of our communities through business, I wanted to make sure that everyone is aware of another program that the Enterprise Zone is working on. And it has to do with the plans of the historic towns. We have just completed Fredericksted's plan, and it is now being considered for adoption, and it will offer something that is an additional incentive. I want to first, though, say that right now we're working on doing Christiansted's plans, and we are in preparation for that. In fact, we will have a series of town hall meetings from next week, Monday through Thursday, from 6 to 8 in Christiansted at St. Mary's Hall. That's what you call it? The hall? Auditorium. Okay. So, the topics of the meetings, and it's town hall, so we're inviting all businesses, all residents, students, anyone that's interested in the growth of the controlled growth and directed growth of our historic towns to please come and stop in. On the first evening, which is March 18th, the topic will be historic and cultural aspects of the town. We really want to speak to that issue. We will have panelists, but we expect the community to come by. The second evening, March 19th, we'll speak to social issues and housing. Again, another major issue that we need to talk about. The third evening, March 20th, will be environmental impacts, and the fourth evening, March 21st, will speak to economic development. Now, it's important that you put your input into this because the tax exemptions that will be offered for the types of activities that specific town is looking for includes 90% exemption on your corporate income tax, 90% exemption on your gross receipt taxes, and 90% exemption on your property taxes. Now, these are EDC-like benefits. They're not exactly the same percentages, but EDC-like benefits for activities that may not be eligible under EDC. EDC offers eligibility for manufacturing and hotels and designated services. But as Frederickstead has stepped forward and say that one of their activities is sports related, they may have a store that wants to retail sports paraphernalia, and that becomes eligible here in Frederickstead. In Christiansted, you may want a whole other type of series of activities, and so we welcome you to please come out. We encourage you, we urge that you come out, because this will make a difference and we have the incentives to push these plans forward. I'd like to thank you for listening to me, and if you have any questions, I'm available as well.
All right, thank you, guys. Folks, don't be shy. I know some of you, Oh, so yes, Frandel do have a question. What? Could the mic, please? Thank you. Appreciate. The camera. No, I can't because it's limited. I can repeat it. Is the draft Frederickstead plan available on the website?
It is not currently available at the website, but the draft that was presented to the Frederickstead community, we can always provide you with a copy that we submitted to the entire community.
Okay. Anyone else? Question? Oh, stay in the light. Oh, step back. Okay. Anyone else have any questions? All right. You will have an opportunity. If you don't want to, you're camera shy, you're mic shy, you don't want to come up and ask any questions, you'll have an opportunity to talk to these guys after the presentation. Let me ask the bankers, let me get Mr. Edwards to come up, the guys with the money, and give us an update where things are at in terms of the activities as far as capital and what's available. He has a lot of money he wants to give away, so make sure you get people excited, all right? I want some too, man.
Good evening, everybody. Nice having you all this evening again. Is there anyone in the crowd who has not heard about the SSBCI program? Oh, I feel good. I'm doing my work. Only 2 out of 50. The SSBCI program was an initiative by our president. It was signed into law in October of 2010. And under that initiative, our governor, John P. DeYoung, applied for, and the territory received this $13.1 million. We cannot use those funds to lend directly to the borrowers. We can only use it to partner with the commercial banks in the Virgin Islands to provide collateral support and guarantee support to the banks on your behalf. For example, if you as a prospective borrower were to go to X bank to apply for a commercial or small business loan, and you were to be short, or there was supposed to be a deficiency in your collateral, the bank would apply to us, the GDB, via EDA, for collateral assistance on your behalf. But there are 3 components to the program. One is the collateral support program. And this is how it works. Let's assume that you were to go to X bank to request a loan for $1 million. You have a piece of property, commercial or residential, that's appraised at $600,000. Your deficiency would be $400,000. A bank would not lend you 100% of the collateral. Some banks go to 75% if it's commercial real estate. If it's residential, 60, 65. It varies from bank to bank. The bank would apply to us, the GDB via EDA, for collateral support on your behalf. We would give to the bank 50% of the loan amount, which would be $500,000, or the actual gap, which is $400,000, cash, a CD or savings account, to augment your real estate. And you would qualify as far as collateral is concerned. However, I would like to emphasize that collateral is not the only factor that the bank considers in granting the loan. Some people say there are 5 C's of credit. I think I know 22. Let's assume that there are risk factors in the credit. Fine, you have the collateral, but there are other risk factors in the credit. For example, after the bank analyzes your financial statements, if you did not meet the debt to service ratio, what we call it, for example, most banks consider 1.25 as the acceptable debt service ratio. There might be some problem with competition in the type of business that you are involved in. There might be some concerns about the economy, as we have now. These are risk factors. The bank will apply for a guarantee. The first one was collateral support. The one I'm explaining now is the guarantee support. we would give to the bank or grant to the bank on your behalf up to 10% of the loan amount or project amount. The project amount is the figure that you would arrive at in determining the level of funding that you would require for your project. The loan amount might be a little different because of the equity that you might be putting into the project. For example, if you conceptualize a project and it's worth $1.5 million, but you have your savings, or you can raise additional equity from a friend, $500,000, your loan would be $1 million. The 10% would be on the project amount. In both cases, we are going to put cash in the bank on your behalf so that you will be able to get your loan. Where are we in the Virgin Islands with the project or with the program? The last time I think I addressed you all, we were nearing $1 million in enhancements. To date, what we've disbursed and in our pipeline, approved but not yet disbursed, is nearing 1.3 million. So it's working. However, we need more participation from the banks. Last Thursday, we met with all the banks. Well, I should not say all. Bank of St. Croix was present. Scotia was present. First Bank was present. Banco Popular was absent. But we are using every method. The newspaper, the radio, the TV, what we are doing now, and with your assistance to get the message around. We have those funds, and we have to get it out. It's there to help you as small business people, and that includes startups. Please help us at the GDB via EDA spread the word that we have this funding available, and it's there to help you. So whenever you get to the bank, tell your friends that whenever they approach the bank to request a commercial loan, a business loan, a small business loan, let them know that you are aware of the program. Find out from them or insist that they use the program to help you. Now, what we've been doing over the last few months is marketing what we call our micro loan program. And this product is one of our internal lending products at the EDA. And we are asking small business people, including startups, to take advantage of this loan product. It goes up to $50,000. Unsecured $50,000. Fixed interest rate of only 5%. You cannot go wrong with an unsecured loan at 5%. And it's to do any legal business, any conceptualized business or venture that bears an economic flavor, job creation, job retention. Tell your friends to visit us at the EDA on St. Croix and St. Thomas and St. John and take advantage of this microloan program. It's unsecured, but it goes with credit worthiness. You have to have some form of sound credit. We are located on Strand Street, 116, King Street, sorry, and in St. Thomas, 5055 Noragata. Our telephone numbers on St. Croix, 7736499, and in St. Thomas, 7141700. Please help us spread the word around. We're there to help you utilize our services and our products. I will introduce Mr. Pablo Vega, who is our small business counselor, to say a few words. Thank you. Good question. Our governor, Herbert asked whether you can use the microloan program for energy projects. The answer is yes. And let me just re-emphasize that the governor has been over the last few months promoting energy, energy, energy. Right now he's in Denmark looking for ways and means to solve our energy situation in the Virgin Islands. So yes, you can apply to us, and SBCI funding can also be used for energy saving projects. Thank you.
All right, after Pablo Vega, after Pablo Vega, one of our other partners, Connect Space, they focus on the workforce development, and Alexis George will offer brief comments as well. Pablo, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this briefing on EDA and the development of the USBI. Something that I want to mention as far as my program is concerned, which is the GDB and Small Business Development of Agency, is that there's a strong interest by the government to promote small business development here in the USVI. As you well know, many business folks get confused when a banker, when a government agency asks you for, please fill all these forms. And sometimes you're too busy with your own business concern to actually deal with all these paperwork, all these projections, all these financial data. As a result, the EDA this year contracted me to provide guidance and support to all the small business concerns here in the USVI, not only in St. Croix, but in St. John's and St. Thomas. Obviously, the greatest pain so far is here in St. Croix, where I've been based lately the last few months. However, my mission entails that I'll be traveling to St. Thomas, St. John's, to coach. That's a very important word. Coach all small business folks into developing their business plan, how to expand their business, how, if they're having any financial difficulty with the present environment, give them orientation on how to prepare an action plan to develop and overcome these obstacles, and basically provide a guidance and support. Refer you to different government agencies that we have in the EDA, and that's my main function, my main purpose here in EDA. I'm willing to not only be here in 116 King Street, but also I'll be in your business. I don't have to be in my office and you come to me. No. I want to be in your environment. I want to see what's happening in your business, so that way I could get a feeling for it and provide you adequate counseling. If anybody has any questions, I'm here to serve all of you. And as Abraham mentioned, our number here in St. Croix is 773-6499, and in St. Thomas 714-1700. Thank you, Ms. Benjamin. If you have any questions, feel free. And remember, our key focus, just like my fellow colleagues over here, is to serve you and develop the USVI. Thank you.
Thank you, Pablo. Appreciate it. Alexis, real quickly. Let me just say that I want to thank Attorney Scott McChain, sorry. McChain. Attorney Scott McChain, our first official member. He signed up this evening. Thank you, Attorney Scott McChain, for being our first official member.
Good evening once again. My name is Alexis George, and I'm with Connect Space Virgin Islands. If you guys take a look, Right back there, y'all see a big banner right on the stairs. That's where we're located. Connect Space came on with the SETI project to really get the word out. We have a particular vision for the island of St. Croix and subsequently the Virgin Islands. And with that vision, it entails, reinventing ourselves, all right, as an island community. Now, for 1 minute, I want you guys to really think about what is possible in the Virgin Islands, and particularly in St. Croix. Show of hands, how many people here right now have internet at home? See? Everybody. Internet. The internet. How many people here use the internet to shop, to communicate? All right. Now, how many people have ever thought about operating a business on the internet? Almost everybody. How many people here have ever thought about working on the internet? Well, the basic reality is that this is the way we are going to be working in the future. Currently, right now, we have about 34 million people across the United States that is working in a telecommuting capacity, okay? And that is slated to grow to approximately 60 million by the year 2016. And then, by 2020, almost half of the working population in the United States will be working in a remote capacity. Now, I say all of this to say that we stand at an opportune time to really we're small enough, right, to really deploy a full knowledge-based workforce, to be able to provide a variety of professional services to the globe, okay? It's unfortunate that the reality is that, our bubble, has bust, the fact that government is doing this layoff and Hovensa have left us, but it creates tremendous opportunity. We have a chance right now to increase the median income of the Virgin Islands drastically, but it's going to require people getting on board and supporting and actually going through the process of training. Okay, it's very important. When we get to this point, as Anthony said earlier, times of desperation, people go out and people do new things. At this point, we have to really think about retraining, reinventing ourselves, retooling, and refocusing. And so that's what Connect Space is about. We offer workshops, telecommuting workshops, how to go out, how to find work. We also focus on job pairing. And also coming up next week, we're doing a community-wide workshop. Sorry, it's only for 100 people, but we're bringing in an expert, and she will be actually providing more in-depth information. What we're doing, we're working towards making those connections with companies abroad, and we're hoping that we get as much support from the Virgin Islands to make this a reality. So with that, we are located right upstairs. You can check us out at connectspacevi.com for information, or you guys can email myself, ageorge@connectspacevi.com, or Yvette Ali at connectspacevi.com, or you can simply call 1-866-331-8080. All right? Y'all need that number again? Yeah, 866-331-8080. All right? Thank you.
All right, good. All right, good. So at this point, the presentations are over. It's now 7:24. For those of you, let me encourage you that please take the time to engage our presenters. Ask them any questions you want, because that's why they're here. Get the process started. Let me just say thank you for taking the time to be here this evening. I would like to ask you to encourage your associates, your colleagues, to participate, to support what the work of SETI, what SETI is doing. And we're looking forward, because we're excited. We're looking forward to the challenge, to what we can do in terms of returning St. Croix and entire U.S. Virgin Islands to prosperity. And we see, we have a vision, we have a plan. As Roger know, we created a $50,000 blueprint document where we've solved some problems, and we have a plan, and it's about taking that plan and really executing and implementing the plan for St. Croix. Let me just say also, SETI, the meaning of SETI, the acronym, obviously St. Croix Economic Development Initiative, but I also want you to get used to this branding, and I want you to say, in the future, as we look forward, we go into the future, SETI also stands for Strategic Economic Development Initiative. And so when you become part of the SETI agenda, you will find yourself starting to say, my SETI, because my SETI means your Strategic Economic Development Initiative. And so again, based on the twofold application of it, we hope and look forward to the staff of SETI are going to go around and introduce themselves and try to engage you and answer any questions they can in terms of potential membership for SETI. Feel free to ask them any questions. And again, I want to thank you. Again, it's televised. It's going to be on, Earl, it's going to be on Channel 6 when? Tomorrow. And you'll be able to watch, if you have cable, you'll be able to watch it Channel 6. And if you don't have cable and you have internet, we're going to upload it to the Virgin Islands Business TV.com channel. Again, that's www.vibusinesstv.com, and you get all the information you need. Again, folks, thank you. Again, the membership form, if you don't have one, please get one. And again, I want to thank all those who support the work of SETI. Thank you so much. Again, this